Chapter 9. A New Player. As she continues to follow the truck, she tries to make sure no one notices her. Finally, the truck slows down and pulls off into a small warehouse that is connected to a larger building. She decides to get onto the top of the warehouse and checks around the warehouse before going in. After she's surveyed the area, she starts to move in. "I highly advise against going in there alone, wolf girl," a voice warns from right behind her. She jumps in surprise, and her heart hurts a little. Her eyes fly wide open, and she can hear her heartbeat in her ears. She quickly turns to see who has caught her so by surprise, and she sees a rather unassuming gentleman in a fancy suit calmly standing against the wall. "Who art?" she begins to ask, but is interrupted by the man immediately. He puts his finger over her lips. "Shh." He softly shushes her and says, "I can answer all of your questions, but first, you must answer mine. Honestly." Next, he admits, "Of course, you have no reason to trust me yet, so I can't fault you for doubting my intentions. However, your young friend over there is going to be killed very soon, or worse, if you do not go along with me right now." Hama looks at the man, then over to the warehouse where Myra is being held. "I'm not sure how or why, but I feel sure he's telling the truth," she thinks to herself. "Okay," she answers reluctantly. Then she asks, "What do we do?" He calmly approaches her, places his hands on her temples, and whispers a chant. Images begin flooding her mind, and visions of terrible events unfolding. She sees her friends back at the portal center being surrounded unbeknownst to them. A final group of men come in to clean up the mess and erase any evidence of the truth, including any eyewitnesses. "Kip!" Maddox shouts. "Yo!" Kip answers. "Have you seen any sign of Hama anywhere?" he asks. "No," he shouts back discouraged. "Guys!" Lizzie shouts out. "She's probably following that truck." Then she explains. "She was already in her feral wolf kit, so keeping up with the truck would be no problem. I'd be following from the rooftops." "Great!" Maddox exclaims. "That's just great. Well, we just survived that terrible whatever the hell that was, so I'm sure we can make it through this next round." "We're getting Myra back!" Kip shouts. "Yes!" Lizzie cheers with a huge smile. Then she turns, saying, "Let me just grab my feral kitty kit, and I'll hop up to the roof and find Hama's Her smile turns to horror as a knife sinks into her chest. The woman wielding the knife had snuck up just behind her and slides a second blade across her throat, silencing the rest of her scream. "Lizzie!" Kip screams as he tries to get to her. As soon as he takes 2 steps, he takes 2 blows to the back of the head and falls to the ground with a thud. "Kip! Lizzie!" Maddox screams in remorse and anger. Looking around, he sees that he is surrounded by 3 murderers who are here to take him out. "Ah!" He begins to scream as he launches himself forward to attack. Then, the images blur and the vision fades out to Hama's green eyes pouring tears of anger and deep sorrow. "Never," she mumbles through her gritted teeth. "That is what will happen if all of your friends who witnessed Myra's awakening don't escape now," remarks the man who gave her the vision. As soon as he removes his hands from her temples, she taps her earpiece. "Call the pack." One short half ring, and Lizzie picks up. "Hama, it's about time, damn." Hama answers, Yeah, I know. Lot to cover right now. But here's the short and sweet deal. You are in danger, deadly danger. Get the hell out of there right now. Wait, Hama, Maddox interrupts. Then he starts to ask, what's going? No time, Maddox, she yells, cutting him off. Then she quietly shouts, guys, leave that building now. I followed Myra, and I need you all here to help me get her back. Lizzie knows how to find me. Finally, she says, get kitted up now. Hells yeah, girl, Lizzie responds. We're on our way now. I know exactly how to get there. Up to the rooftops to follow your trail. Then she faces the boys. You guys follow me. I've got my board, so keeping up will be a blast for me. But what about these two? Chadri asks. There are 2 motorbikes at the back. Oh, and a Sagittarius. But that can be a bit daunting, Lizzie says, leaning over from the edge of the roof. A Sagittarius? Like the internal mount? Maddox exclaims into everyone's ears. Hell no, Kip refuses vehemently. I'll take a bike. Guys, go! We have company coming in the front, Lizzie shouts into the earpieces. Suddenly, all communications are cut off. Guys! Guys! Hama whispers as loudly as she dares. Guys! She cries quietly, tapping her earpieces repeatedly with grave concern in her eyes. You've done your best, the man calmly says. You did all you could do. Now trust them to do what they can. Next, he faces the building where Myra is being held and states, it's time for you to do what you can do. He pauses briefly, then holds up 2 fingers and adds, in phase 2. Finally, he sharply directs her, let's go. She nods in agreement, then she dashes off and leaps to the other roof. As soon as she lands on the roof, she checks the other side of the access door with her audio scanner and the scent tracker in her wolf helm. Coast is clear on the other side of this door, she informs the man. She will be held down on the 2nd floor, he assures her. How do you know? She asks him. He smiles and replies, you have your ways, and I have mine. Afterwards, he sharply commands her, follow me. They enter and quietly make their way through the halls with no direct contact with enemies. As they move through the dark corridors, Hama sniffs and scans for the best path. Finally, they reach a doorway with 2 men standing watch over it. No way around these 2, Hama tells the man. He sighs quietly and says, very well. In that case, you take out the one on the right, but do it quietly. Okay, she agrees. On 3, he commands her. Then he counts down. 1, 2, 3. They both spring out and Hama gets to her target before he can react. She slams the guard hard with a downward fist pound from her synthetic muscle fiber paw, and he is immediately knocked out cold. She looks over at the other guard and sees him sleeping as well. Not bad, she commends her enigmatic ally. Next, she checks with her system's audio scanners and reports. No one hurt us. We're still good. Excellent, the stranger responds with a smile. Then he closes his eyes and breathes slowly for a few seconds. Suddenly, he opens his eyes and says, we don't have much time.